Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's news conference. Just one announcement before we begin. Just make sure you get your names of the players that you want for interviews this afternoon to me when this is over. We will have interviews at 4 o'clock today, so make sure and plan accordingly. With that being said, we will now begin the news conference. West Virginia head coach Daniel Holgorsen.
The player interviews will be at 6:30 tonight, like they normally are, so this was miscommunication. So anyway, short week this week, back to work this morning. You hear the players down there working out, lifting weights. We'll be on, obviously 1 day shorter, which I think's good, because I think we need to get back out there and get to playing again. Showed some improvements, especially offensively last week, getting out there, doing some things right. And defensively, we played good in spurts, just couldn't give up, couldn't stop the big play, obviously. Special teams thought we had some improvements as well. So, best way to get back on track is get out there and have another opportunity to play. So, Iowa State's a good football team. It's week in and week out in this league, as our guys are finding out. Iowa State's a team that is solid on all three sides of the ball. Don't think there's really anything flashy about anything you do. You look at all their stats; nothing really jumps out to you. You watch them on film; nothing really jumps out to you. It's just a very solid, well-coached, effort-oriented team that's very technically sound. That plays with just a bunch of effort. It's just they don't beat themselves. Whatever they do is they do it with great effort, and their schemes are fairly simple to figure out. They're back in the mold of defensively, where they're going to play off you. They're going to do a lot of the things that we saw from Kansas State and TCU and guys like that. So we'll need to put the ball in play. We'll have to remain patient offensively. Biggest thing is putting the thing in play and making some people miss in the open field. Offensively, they spread you out a lot. They play 3 different quarterbacks, 3 different running backs, a whole bunch of different receivers, 2 or 3 running plays, 2 or 3 passing plays, and they just try not to make any mistakes. Sound in the kicking game as well. So we got a short week. Got to get back to work. We travel Thursday on Thanksgiving and get there and play the game. So it's a tough place to play. I've been there twice. It's real hard to play at night. Luckily, we're not playing at night. But it'll be rowdy. It means a lot to them. It means a lot to their kids. Will be a challenge if we think we can relax at all. It's one thing that we've been preaching to them for the last 24 hours since the game got over. Oklahoma was a huge challenge, and we gave a tremendous amount of effort and had a chance to win. Didn't. If we don't give that kind of effort this Friday, then we won't win the game, because Iowa State's going to be a huge challenge. They're already bowl eligible and play with great pride. So should be a fun week coming. Looking forward to it. Take some questions.
Are some losses harder to get over than others?
I don't know. Yeah, all losses are pretty tough. I don't know. I don't know what else we could have done. I felt like we gave it everything we got. The sideline energy was great. Our kids played hard. The effort was there. The energy was there. The excitement was there. The sidelines were energetic. Our guys put a whole lot into it and didn't get it done. They made one more play than we did. So yeah, it's a tough one, but all losses are fairly tough. That's why I'm excited about the short week. There's no time to sit and ponder. Last night was a lot busier than normal Sunday nights. Normally we got some time to regroup and then spend all day Monday prepping, until late in the hours tonight. We'd be prepping and then practicing tomorrow. last night. We got the game over with as quick as we could, and then we stayed up here real late last night, prepping because we're going to be out in the practice field here in a few hours. So there's no time to sit there and ponder what ifs. I mean, it's a matter of getting out there and getting back to work. And we're forced to do that this week.
Dana, when a losing streak reaches a certain length, there's a danger kids can steal away. But how hard has it been, or easy, I guess, to keep them online when really you've played better the last 3 games than the first 2 games? But after a while, does that, hey, it's getting better? Can that fade a little bit if there is no payoff?
I don't see that at this point. Yeah, there's a worry to that, but we're still playing for a lot of it. We got 22 guys that got 12 days left in their college career unless we win one of the 2 and they can extend it to a bowl game. Bowl games are rewards. You get to a level where a bowl game is much more than a reward. We're not at that stage right now. We're at the stage where we're playing for for the betterment of the program. We win a couple games, we get to a good bowl game, we get a practice for another month. It helps out for the program. And so I don't think we're at that point. I mean, I think our kids sensed the fact that they had a chance to win and didn't. Disappointing. Why did it happen? I don't know. When's it going to end? I don't know. The only thing we can do about it is get out there, work hard, and put ourselves in position on the next one.
Do you sense, though, it's 5, but 3 of them have been, 2 of them in 1 place, 1 of them has been just silly mistakes. It's kind of I don't want to say deceiving 5-game losing streak, but not far from being 2 and 3 or 1 and 4. Well,
there's a difference in playing well and losing and just flat out being embarrassed. We'd have a lot to worry about right now if we weren't playing with effort, if our kids weren't excited to play, and I would be able to sense that, then there would be a serious problem. I don't view that with this team right now. I view a team that is in some uncharted territory and not liking it, but learning to deal with it a little bit. So, but everything we asked them to do last week, we got. So if we're asking them to do something and they don't do it, then we got a serious problem.
Now, Tavon said that he had just like 2 plays last week, or a very limited number of plays that he was running. Does that leave you a lot of room to expand what he does in these next 2 games out of that position?
Yeah, we could probably do some more things with him, but if Tavon was a every down running back, could carry the ball 40 times a game, he had been doing it for the last 4 games. And he's a guy that you look for matchups and you put him in position to exploit those matchups. That's not necessarily always going to be the case of him in the backfield. It was a good game to do that with him. How much we do it's going to be week to week what we see on film. And it's since day one, it's always been how do we get him the ball and doing whatever we got to do to get him the ball. And I think our staff's done a good job of that. Even last week, it's just flat out ridiculous the amount of yards that he had and the limited carries that he had. It's a performance that may not ever be duplicated in college football in quite some time. With that said, if we would have handed him the ball twice as many times, he may have had the same amount of yards. So, that's us as coaches trying to figure out the best way to get him the ball. And sometimes that's him as a wide receiver, sometimes it's an inside receiver, sometimes it's motion, sometimes it's backfield sets. Those just kind of were amplified here this past week. Yeah.
Coach, have you ever had a player that could score 4 ways with this guy's speed and his versatility?
No, I never have. Not from a return standpoint, a receiving standpoint, and the ability just to hand it to him and do a lot of different things. I've never coached a guy with that kind of versatility. I've said from day one, especially this year, he's the most explosive player with the ball in his hands that I've ever seen. So our job as coaches is to get him the ball as many ways as we can. So sometimes we've done a good job of that. Sometimes we haven't done a good job of that. Last week, obviously, we did a pretty good job of that.
You have to guard against giving it to him too much. Like you said, you're not going to give it to him 40 times, but in the back of your mind, you have to kind of remind yourself that, you need to temper that a little bit?
Yeah, you have to. And I thought we did a good job of mixing it up last week. I mean, everybody's like, well, you know, he had that much, why wouldn't you give it to him twice as more? Well, his body's just not shaped like that. I mean, we're running into some problems with Bowie the same way, because Bowie's got the same body type. He's a quick-twitched, physical guy that locks up and wears down. So you got to be careful about that. And I don't think we'd be in game 11 with either one of those two guys if we gave it to him 30 sometimes a game.
You've been lacking the big play in the running game until obviously Tavon. When you look at the film, what was he doing better than Bowie or Alston or Garrison were doing?
Well, it's just it's an unfair question, really. I mean, he's the most explosive player in college football. With, and I say this quite candidly, with the ball in his hands. He's got a lot of things that he can do better without the ball in his hands that people don't see, and that's coaching, and that we've been trying to get him to do for a long time. But he makes a whole bunch of people miss, and he runs real fast with the ball in his hands. Those other guys don't have the ability to make people miss like that, and they don't have the ability to run real fast. Is that because of lack of effort? Absolutely not. Those guys are trying real hard. Just some people can and some people can't. Tavon's a guy that can, and those other guys are guys that can't. Why? Well, Bowie's kind of wore down a little bit. Dustin just had knee surgery 10 months ago. So we got to get more backs in here that we can rely on that can make some plays. Because it was clearly part of our frustrations offensively are clearly with our inability to run the ball. If you put the ball in Gino's hand 50-some times a game and say win the game, there's not many people that can do it on a consistent basis.
Dana, they've started a new quarterback. What do you see out of him on something different style-wise than the other guys?
No, they didn't do anything different. The other guys that played a bunch, we watched a lot of tape. On the tape that we have studied it off on our end offensively, the Barnett kid was the guy that we saw most of the time. Jans is a guy the senior that's been around, that's played a lot of ball. I would expect him to start just because he's got so many starts under his belt. He's senior day, get to be a senior. He started last week, and then they brought the young kid in, which we fully anticipating them doing that as well. But they didn't change from the scheme standpoint. They're not overly complicated with what they do offensively. They spread you out. They're going to run the zone. They're going to zone read it, which they did with them, and then they're going to get the ball out of their hands. They're excellent at not getting caught with the ball in the backfield. And all three quarterbacks do the same thing. You can tell that they're coached to within the passing game, 1-2 throw or get back to the line of scrimmage. So from a scheme standpoint, it's not really going to make a difference to us who they play.
Dan, in your mind, what is the Heisman Trophy? Define who should win the Heisman as far as, is it the best player on a winning team? Is it the best player in college football? Is it most valuable player? And how does a coach handle that when he's got a situation like you have a couple of guys that could be in the mix anyway?
There's nothing you can do about it. You got to win games. And we had some guys that could have been up for the discussion if you win games. That's why I refused to talk about it or refused to do anything about it until later in the year. What Texas A&M's approach with Manziel was quite appropriate. There's no talks of that, and he plays well this time of year. You get the word out there. Last year with Robert Griffin, it was the same way. He played well late, and they were on national TV, and they made some a lot of people were watching him. So it's the best player in the country. With that said, it's a lot has to do with timing, and a lot has to do with playing well at the right time. You got to win games. It's just real.
Danny, they lost a really good linebacker on defense. They're still doing pretty well, it looks like. Is there not much drop off like it looks like?
No, his backup, the George kid 52, is playing pretty well. But he was a really good player. I get those two guys mixed up. A.J. Klein is the guy that's still there. Jake Knott was the guy that got hurt. And two tremendous football players. Just very active, very smart, sure tackler. Was always in the right spot. You can tell they make everybody else around him better. They're very sound on defense, but those guys kind of spearhead that whole thing. But 52's done a good job. Georgia's done a good job coming in and doing a lot of the same stuff. They're stingy on defense, especially in the red zone. I mean, they give up yards, they give up yards, they give up yards, and then they get real stingy in the red zone. They get you to turn it over. One of the stats that does stand out is how they do in the red zone defense. They change what they do. They start pressuring you. They start heating you up a little bit. So.
Do you understand on 4th and 1 inside the red zone? Is it just, do you automatically say, I gotta come out with 3 points, or go for it?
Nah, we try to get touchdowns. We've went for it on 4th down probably more than we ever have inside the red zone because of the scores of the game. Typically, a lot of those 4th downs we kick field goals because points are more important than touchdowns. But our play calling, if you look at it, our play calling is trying to get touchdowns. I think we've got 32 touchdowns out of 37 scoring drives that we've had in the red zone. Although our percentage is only at about 80%, we shoot for about 96%. It's kind of the national, the tops of the nation. It's about 96. We're at about 80. I think they're defending 70% right now. So we want to get points. There's a lot of yards that exist against a team like Iowa State. People are putting up a lot of yards, not a lot of points. They're only giving up 22 points a game. A lot of that has to do with the red zone. So we wouldn't need to get points in the red zone. Getting touchdowns would be appropriate.
Do you practice differently because of that, knowing that they are especially good in the red zone? Do you guys do anything differently, or are you planning anything different?
No. We know what they're going to do. We just got to execute.
You call plays differently down there?
Not really. We just got to kind of, they play defense differently, which means we got to call plays probably a little bit different. But that's a preparation standpoint. That's not a mentality standpoint.
Darwin Cook has been among the missing for the last couple of games. Yet in this last game, he played and apparently played pretty well. Can you explain what happened?
He played okay. I wouldn't say he played well. He was not playing well early. He got hurt. He kind of had something similar to Sean, but to a lesser degree. So he's limping around. Never like skipped practice or an MIA or any of that. Just didn't look very good. And that was the emergence of Cecil Level, which Darwin's been doing better. So we put Darwin in after Cecil missed a couple of tackles. The bodies that he was trying to tackle last week were different than the bodies that he's been trying to tackle in the past. So Darwin's got experience now with these 3 works. We put him in there. Played okay.
You talked a lot earlier this season about how difficult this league would be, how depth is so important. Do you feel like that's clear at this point, with your fan base and those types of things?
Well, I don't know what the fan base thinks, but I think we all understand the challenges that we've encountered. Yeah, it's pretty difficult. We've played this is the 8th team in a row that's either been ranked or close to being ranked, or full teams or something like that. I think it's 8 in a row. 7 in a row, maybe. So, every Big 12 team we've played is going to go to the bowl game. Probably tells you something right there.
6 cornerbacks that started out. Do you have more than 2, or do you have somewhere in that still need one of those 2?
We have none that have stepped up that have taken control of positions. And this is a tough league to play corner. You've got some pretty good receivers. So it's a tough league to play corner. But none of the guys have stepped up and said, this is my position, and I am going to make the enough plays to where I'm not going to have to get taken out again. Whether that gets established here between January 1 or not, I don't know. You know, a lot of them are young. Obviously, you've got guys like Ricky Rumph, who's a true freshman, has no business playing corner in the Big 12 at this point in his career. Chestnut has played 0 snaps at corner the entire year and started. He doesn't have any business starting in this league at this point in time. We just don't have enough guys that have taken control of the position and said, this is mine, this is, we're going to make it work. So competition continues to be a challenging focus for that spot right now.
You do have young guys, but I imagine you like to recruit that really well in the offseason. How do you pitch that together?
Well, yes and no. I mean, you say, well, go out and find corners. Well, how many corners can we have on scholarship? There's scholarship limitations. We've got 8 corners on scholarship right now, one of which is a senior. So it's hard to have any more than 8 on scholarship if you just do that. So it's a matter of coaching these guys up. I mean, we got 3 older guys that got some experience. You know, maybe an injury or 2 have kind of limited those guys a little bit, but especially Broderick, because you're looking at a surgery situation. But those other guys got to, the older guys are the guys you got to count on. And they've been okay at times. They've been poor at times. The young guys got to step up, and they got to continue to get better. That's an off-season project. You get Avery back, who's young, Chestnut back, who's young, Rick, Donna. You got Brandon Napoleon, who's a redshirt kid. Vernon Davis, who's a redshirt kid. You got 6 guys that are young. Those guys, as freshmen, need years to develop before they can be adequate in covering some of these Big 12 receivers. We're not in that situation as a program right now. It's going to take some time.
Did you have any of the former players from here over the game the other day, like address the team or anything like that, or just?
People's asked me that. If motivational speaking was the way to coach a football team, there'd be a whole lot of motivational speakers being football coaches. Their presence is appreciated. If you think a few of their words are going to change the outlook of the football team, you're off your rocker. We appreciated their support. Those guys are important to the program. Motivational speaking is not the answer when it comes to a well-prepared football team.
Okay, thanks, Coach.
All right. 6:30.